Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Shadow of the Colossus, where we're gonna go take on our next boss. And funny enough, it's actually a pretty easy one, if you know what you're doing. Obviously, at first when I played this game on PS3, because I never played the PS2 version, and probably won't be anytime soon, because this game just makes the original version look completely terrible in comparison. Just everything about this game, like especially the way it looks, is just fantastic what they did with it. Like, they actually made it look like a PS4 game. So, it's hard to go back to the original. At least for me. Anyway, so we're gonna go to our next Colossi, which is definitely the most interesting out of all of them. And you'll see why. But yeah, that last fight, I actually had trouble on that fight, funny enough, when I first played it. Because hitting that thing's eye was the hardest thing for me. It's just maybe how stiff the controls are, but I feel like because I'm so used to the PS4 controller, I'm definitely... I actually feel like I'm Hawkeye when I'm shooting at the bow and arrow now. So... I don't know, it's weird. I'm just not used to the way the PS2 controls are, especially when they transition to the PS3. It's, I don't know if, I feel like it's maybe just me, because I wasn't used to that at all. But, yeah. It took me a while to get used to and beat it, and, yeah. And it's funny, too, because, I didn't play the game on my own account because at the time it came out, I never had a PS3. I was playing it on cousin's, so it was interesting to say the least. It was my first time ever actually playing the PS3 because I was at a time in my life where I just couldn't really afford much, and it's a tough struggle. It's almost kind of like being homeless, but it's not like... I can still afford things, it just was harder for me to have a steady income and get all these things, you know? I feel like maybe that's probably the best way to explain it without sounding like a complete dickhead and trying to relate to people who are homeless, because that's not really what I'm trying to compare. So, alright, we're here. And, unfortunately, we're gonna have to ditch aggro. Sorry, dude. But, you're on your own. You can pretty much just shortcut your way down here without taking... Oh! Just don't do that. Yeah. But, pretty much just shortcut your way down here. You don't have to walk down. You could just drop into the water. But see, we're men. We don't do that shit. And I know for a fact aggro can't swim, so... Could you imagine that? A horse trying to swim? That'd be fucking scary. And I love horses. Like, I remember when I was a kid... my grandparents' house, we actually used to have a horse ranch, and I had a horse, and it was my horse because that's basically what they. Oh, by the way, our Colossus is up here. It was actually my horse, and we named him Sam. And funny enough, anytime there's a game where I can name my horse, I actually name it after that because that horse actually meant a lot to me. It was the first time I ever got to ride a horse. He was like, because at the time I didn't really have very many friends when I was younger, and he was like my only friend. I would go out and feed it all the time, and it was, you know, he meant a lot to me. And of course, as I grew up, I wasn't able to see him anymore, and we had to get rid of him. But there were times where I was actually still able to see him. And the horse was actually getting really, he would get excited whenever he'd see me. And, yeah, that's pretty much why I have a close relation to animals like horses and dogs and cats. Because it resembles my childhood. Anyway, so we're about to step into a cutscene. I just wanted to finish that story up because I figured, you know, it's a heartfelt story that I thought I would bring to people's attention. So. And welcome to one of the most tiny of the Colossi. And if you hide in here, you won't be able to hit you. But you can see his weak points on top, which is fine. Now, all we have to do is piss it off. Yep. That's a thing. Now, in this version, which I noticed, but basically, oh, shit. You gotta rekindle the torch, obviously, and Wanderer takes forever to get his ass up. Oh god, come on, that's a cheap shot, and it makes the camera freak out, which is the worst part. I think the camera's definitely the last Colossi in this game. Anyway, so do this, and then grab the fire because this guy's actually afraid of fire. Funny enough, back I say, back I say, come on. Come on. Back, I say. Back. Back, I say. But yeah, it took a while for me to get used to this because it wasn't until the game like vaguely hinted at me. He's afraid of fire. And you know what? He really is, because look at him. He's backing away. You know, and there's a nice little cliff there. And this wasn't until I realized the real way to beat this boss. And I found this by complete accident. Because I figured that cliff, maybe he can fall off of it, or I can corner him. And, well, we did exactly that. So, how do I change it to my sword? There we go. But, yeah. So, we gotta jump down there, go and hit this dude's weak point. Where the hell is he? Is he down near the cliff? Oh, yeah, he is. But, yeah. I don't normally like to talk about my life stories much, but I figured that would be a nice heartfelt thing to do. Okay. Come on. Get some good stabs in. It does a lot of damage to him. He's definitely the tiniest of the Colossi, that's for sure. And boom. That was the fastest Colossi kill we've ever gotten. He's down for the count. But yeah, he's a really tiny little fucker. And he's also the weakest. Sorry, my dude. Someone had to lay waste to you. You gotta put the pupper down. But yeah, he can constantly hit stun you, which, funny enough, during my stream, I got really pissed off because I didn't realize they changed the controls, so I was struggling trying to get the torch to fight it. And, yeah, good times. Always fun to talk about streams and stuff now that I'm able to kind of show that, especially during my practice runs. Especially now that I know what I'm doing when I'm doing these LPs. And that's the next statue down. Okay, so the next Colossi is actually a really interesting one, and I'll talk about it next episode because there's actually a lot of things that I want to explain. Because that hint is so vague they actually make it really obvious. But, you won't know that until you actually fight it and realize, like, what you're doing. Anyway. I'll see you guys next time for another episode of Shadow of the Colossus, where we will go ahead and fight the next Colossi. You guys take care of yourselves, and I'm off. Peace out.